Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She's coming straight from the Berg. She is Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on? How was your week?
Nah, not too bad. Can't really complain. Weather's getting colder, which is my favorite. So I'm just sitting here with my little fuzzy socks, and I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, it's coming close to the end of the year
Oh,
already. It feels like this year has flown by.
yeah, it really has, but it also hasn't. If that makes any sense. Like it's just like time flies by, but then it's also like takes forever.
Yeah,
Time just doesn't exist anymore. It's a myth,
I hear you.
honestly. Like yeah, it is what it is, though.
I hear you. Well, for those of you who are listening for the first time, thank you very much. We are a professional wrestling podcast where we talk about the happenings in the world of the WWE and AEW and anything of the like. We like talking about professional wrestling on this show, and usually we answer questions, but this week is a little different because this coming weekend is the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view, which we'll be talking about at length, talking about all the advertised matches that are coming in. But before we start, I wanted to touch on a couple different topics, namely, I don't know how much of Raw you saw last Monday night, but it was a pretty big Monday Night Raw from Madison Square Garden, a pretty epic night, which included John Cena's final Raw appearance of his career, where he was in a six-man tag match with Sheamus and Rey Mysterio against the Judgment Day. I mean, we saw everything from AJ Lee making an appearance to Brock Lesnar returning, setting up the War Games match, and also Roman Reigns returning. What a crazy night Monday Night Raw was.
Yeah, it was definitely something. And then you had Maxine beating
Maxine,
Becky, like
Maxine.
coming through. Yeah, I was following along on Twitter, and boy, it was just like right when you thought something crazy happened and it was over, then something else happened, and then you had Dolph Ziggler coming back, and
Dolph
it's just like,
Ziggler. Like, yeah, you're
it's like it just keeps going. Boy, it was chaotic, but in a good way though. Can't complain. But
yeah, it was
yeah,
a
there
really
was
it
a
was
lot.
it was a really good Raw. Some people say it felt like that should have been the go home edition to Survivor Series. The way it felt, the way they were building everything up. I mean, you had Roman Reigns attacking the NYPD. You know,
Yeah,
it was a crazy night.
it really was. Honestly, if that would have been the like go home show before Survivor Series, that would have been absolutely perfect because that was back in the day when things were like so chaotic you couldn't help but like, well, we have to tune into the pay-per-view now because if
Yeah.
this is what they're setting it up with, then damn, it's like it could have been that way. I feel like the only thing was I feel like a lot of people really weren't sold on Cena's like last match because I don't know, from what the Twitterverse, so the online wrestling community, from what I saw, the general consensus was that was maybe it wouldn't go so far as some people did, but that was a waste. Like that shouldn't have been
Mm.
his last match, it being just like a six-man tag. But again, for all we know, that might have been what he wanted. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I would have done maybe something different, but if that's what opportunity presented itself, then sure, why the hell not?
You know, the internet and the internet wrestling community are gonna find a reason to complain and pick apart something.
Yeah.
I thought it was serviceable. I mean, I think most people just wanted to see him in a one-on-one match against somebody, but I was okay with the whole tag match scenario and he getting the victory. And I'm also excited to see him compete at Survivor Series for the Intercontinental Championship against Dirty Dominic Mysterio, who's trying to get his belt back. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun having him back on the PLE on Survivor Series, and him working with Dominic Mysterio is working out pretty well because Dominic Mysterio is coming into his own right as a serviceable worker in the ring.
Yeah, and they actually remembered you can give people rematches for their titles. Like that's a thing. I think for a long time they kind of forgot that existed, or they very subtly moved away from it. Where it used to be anybody that lost their title got an automatic rematch. Then it was like not so much,
Yeah,
but now it's like I feel like this is one of the exceptions because I feel like you need to give Dom at least another chance. If he gets the title back, remains to be seen or not. But you can't just have him lose it and then have the guy who loses the 2 retire, and then he's like, okay, well, now what am I going to do? Like, you got to at least give him a chance. So I'm glad they finally broke that exception for Dom, because if anybody needed it, it would be him.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun seeing him and John Cena lock up again, this time under the bright lights of Survivor Series, which is in Petco Park in San Diego, which is a pretty cool venue for baseball. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like for wrestling. It's going to be really cool to see. Something else I wanted to touch on before we start talking about AEW Full Gear. The AEW Blood and Guts special that was this past Wednesday. Man, what a special it was. What'd you think about the Blood and Guts matches, starting off with the women?
Thought they were both fantastic. Horrifying in many ways, with both, but I feel like, in my opinion, it's so weird. In my opinion, I feel like the women's match was a little more sloppy. It had some like very weird moments, but I also feel like it was better than the men's, but I think it was just the shit that they did just kind of overshadowed the fact that there was some sloppiness in there. I mean, when it comes to those kind of matches, you're not going to expect a technical masterpiece.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to expect carnage and blood, and boy, did we get carnage and blood within the first 5 minutes of the whole goddamn match, because right off the bat, Sky Blue gets busted open. I will say, though, the way she gets busted open, I thought was a little, like, anticlimactic, but the fact that bleeding buckets of blood after that was just, you knew she wanted to do that as soon as she possibly could. She's like, give me the first opportunity and I'm going to be like bleeding buckets. And she did. Good on her for not passing out, because I sure as hell would have passed out losing that much blood. But yeah, just, God, so much happened. It's like, the things I can remember were Tony obviously getting smashed in the face with her own mirror. That was wild. Marina stomping Mina when she stepped in the glass and like shoved her whole foot in the glass. Stat landing on the bed of nails. That one was kind of like, oh God, like, ugh. And then just seeing like the aftermath afterward, it was just insane. And then like Julie and Sky like finding their way through like a cage, like just crawling through the holes. It was just like, we saw some things in there we haven't really seen before. So I appreciate the uniqueness and the creativity they used in that match. And the ending, I really did like the ending, like pulling on the heartstrings a little bit. Like, they knew that the only thing Tony was like, her one weakness was Mina, so they had to take advantage of that and absolutely kick the shit out of her and choked her within an inch of her life. But
and beating her with the belt at the same time as a submission was definitely a touch. It was violent. It was at times grotesque, and I'm just talking about the women's Blood and Guts. It was something. And then you go over to the men. I mean, the spot for me was the very end where like Pac picked up Darby Allin and threw him into that flaming table. You know, you had a flaming table where Darby was on fire for a good portion of that segment. So it was just like, oh my God, I don't know how they got away with a lot of that stuff on cable TV. I'm sure the network was probably shaking their head.
They were probably just like panicking that they're like, we're gonna get sued, we're gonna get fined, we're gonna lose some money. But I don't think they really much cared. At least AEW didn't really much care. But
for me it was like the like, usually I've been kind of down on the AEW product. Specifically like the way Tony Khan puts things together. I've been very down on his strategic booking. I kind of consider it more matchmaking than booking a wrestling show. But I gotta say, for Blood and Guts, like, that was the perfect show. 3 matches, nothing out of, aside from the craziness of Blood and Guts, nothing out of the ordinary, out of touch. But I like the fact that they did a 3-match card in like a 2.5 hour program that had that much carnage on it. Was a lot of fun. It kind of took away from the idea that Tony Khan is just a matchmaker and not a booker.
Yeah, I agree, except the only thing I would have changed is, and we even talked about it last week, I would have put the women at the end. Like, I get that whole spot with Darby getting caught on fire, yeah, fine. That could have been at the beginning of the show. No one really would have batted an eye if that was like at the beginning. I think the ending with, like you said, Mina getting choked within an inch of her life, getting beat with the belt while Tony's getting held back, watching her get murdered essentially. That would have been such a good way to end the show. So I was a little disappointed that for whatever reason they felt the need to have the men main event, but I don't know. And that is definitely the general consensus I've seen is that I'm not sure why they had the women not main event because they should have. We agreed it was the more compelling story between the men and the women. So that's the only thing I would have changed. But other than that, it was great. I feel like I needed a shower afterwards. It was just carnage. Just so much carnage.
It definitely was.
It's what we wanted, and we sure got it.
Yeah, they definitely delivered. They definitely lived up to the moniker of blood and guts for sure. So we got to give them credit. Again, credit to all the competitors in the matches for putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment. You know, I'm not a big blood guy. You know, I feel like sometimes it's necessary. I mean, sometimes AEW overdoes it with the blood, but I was okay. I know there were a couple people in my chat that night where we were watching on stream that were kind of like, oh, this is a little too much. Which is understandable. Like I said, I don't know how the network wasn't sweating bullets watching that match going, I don't know if we can keep this on air.
Yeah, they probably were, let's be honest. I think the issue is that it's such a like discrepancy between the fact that AEW uses blood, like you said, sometimes a little too much or over, it's like an over reliance on it. But I think what doesn't help it or just amplifies it is the fact that WWE doesn't.
Right.
And when they do, it's accidental, not on purpose.
Right.
So the fact that AEW is really the only one that actually willingly lets their wrestlers bleed, it's just kind of like, oh wow, just like shit. Like if you watched 3 months of WWE programming and then watched one AEW match where there was actual blood, you'd be like, oh Jesus, that's like completely different. So I think that kind of amplifies it a little bit, but I don't mind it. I mean, blood doesn't bother me. I feel like the other things make me squeamish, but some of the stuff they were doing though still made me a little uncomfortable. Like I said, I think the one that really just got me was again Marina like stepping in the glass like willingly, knowing the only thing that was separating her from that glass barely was tape.
Yeah.
But even then, most of her foot was exposed, and you're just stepping in shards of glass, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it was definitely, if you're into hardcore matches, anything of the like, you would definitely enjoy Blood and Guts. I thought it was a great show. It was a great show of gratuitous violence.
Yeah, and you know what? I take it back. You know the worst part of that entire show? Poor Orange getting his hands stapled into his pockets.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Was terrible.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was travesty. They figured out a way to neutralize Orange Cassidy, and they did it in a grand fashion. That's for sure.
But then he ripped his hands out of the pockets with staples. And we can't. Anyway, but yeah. Definitely gave it A+ on that one.
Yeah, good show. But tonight we're going to be talking about the upcoming pay-per-view, AEW Full Gear, that's going to be taking place in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. This one's a little interesting because this only on the main card only has 6 advertised matches as of right now. I'm pretty sure they're going to add more while you're listening to this show because this will drop on Wednesday, and Wednesday is AEW Dynamite. It is going to be the go-home episode of Full Gear, so I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be dropping more matches tonight for Dynamite. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, they probably will because it's AEW. They're not going to have just 6 matches. I mean, technically they have 9, but 2 are on the pre-show, and then there's one where we don't entirely know what's going on with it yet. We'll get into it when we get into the predictions, but yeah, that's very low for AEW standards. That's usually there's usually like twice as many. So maybe, just maybe, they're finally getting a hint, and maybe they're realizing that, hey, we don't need to fully overload a card and put our viewers to sleep. So maybe they may only add like 1 or 2 more. Maybe they won't add any at all, but I'd be shocked if they didn't because I know they just can't help themselves.
I definitely have my fingers crossed. But I'm excited to talk about the show, talk about the matches, and talk about what they're going to possibly be doing. What are our predictions for AEW Full Gear? This is how we do it. We predict the winners and losers. And sometimes Shay and I are so lockstep with each other, so in step with each other, that we end up predicting the same winners and losers. So we have to have ourselves a little bit of a tiebreaker in terms of choosing who we think is going to win and lose. And not only that, if it's a tiebreaker, we get to guess the finish of the match. So seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. Like you said, there's only 6 advertised matches on the card so far. So why don't we get right into it?
Yeah, let us get into it. So usually Eric's in charge of this, but I'm gonna get a crack at it today.
She's
so we're
giving
gonna
me a
just
break.
Yeah, you need a break. You work too hard, so I'll take the heat for this one. So all right, so we're gonna start off with the only, and I mean literally only regular wrestling match, no stipulation, no title on the line, nothing. We have Darby Allin taking on Pac. Darby still can't get rid of the Death Riders, or more or less the Death Riders can't really get rid of Darby. Pac challenged him, Darby accepted, and here we are. So I feel like we're probably just gonna get probably what we would expect, that Pac's gonna, toss Darby around like a rag doll
Right.
and do some things that are gonna probably take a couple more years off his life, because why wouldn't it? But I feel like I feel like Darby's gonna want to get some revenge on Pac, especially since he threw him through a flaming table with blood and
Yeah.
guts and put him on fire. So I feel like we may see that typical underdog, all of a sudden Darby like pulls one out. So it's going to be painful, because any Darby Allin match is always going to be painful, whether it needs to be or not.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Darby. I think he's going to get a little bit of payback on Pac, and I think the Death Riders are kind of reeling right now, because they did not win the men's blood and guts. Marina may have won it for the women, but Moxley tapped out again. So is that going to end up playing into a factor of the Death Riders' demise? I think so, because I think what's going to end up happening, and I don't entirely know who's going to initiate it. I feel like it may be Marina, could be Claudio, who knows, but I feel like they're going to look at Moxley and kind of question his leadership, because why are you giving up on all these matches? Like, you've tapped out or given up twice now, I think maybe 3 times, but that's not what leaders of the Death Riders do. So there may be a riot, there may be a mutiny, but I don't know if that's going to happen during this match. I doubt it, but you never know. But yeah, I'm still going to go with Darby. I think he's going to get some revenge, and yeah, maybe throw him through a flaming table. I doubt it, but you never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
This one is definitely interesting. This one I actually would like to see. Like I said earlier, Tony Khan is kind of, to me, a more of a matchmaker than a booker. I think somebody, I can't remember who said it, but they said he books it like it's an indie show,
Oh God.
where it's just, matches for the sake of matches, storylines be damned, but this one I'm actually intrigued by. I'm a fan of Darby Allin. I'm a fan of Pac. Pac just looks swollen to the gills. Like he can't get any bigger. He can't get any bigger. Then we're gonna have to start questioning his motives and his methods of how he got that big. But he's definitely wrestling a different style too. He's kind of done away with the high flying style that made him so popular. I mean, for God's sakes, at one point of his career, he was the man that gravity forgot, and we have seen a change in him, more ground and pound wrestling, more using his size and his power, and he definitely comes in at the advantage with the power game against the skinnier, more lanky Darby Allin. But like you said, Darby Allin's willing to do anything, especially when he's got a motivation like his hatred for the Death Riders. So I think it's going to be one of those situations where Pac is going to try to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Darby Allin, and he's going to take it and just keep going forward and keep pushing forward. And eventually, I think Darby Allin is going to get the win in this match. I don't know. See, because the thing is, we when we used to predict AEW shows, we always used to kind of predict what we thought was going to happen in the future. But again, with AEW, it's so hard because you just don't know which direction they'll go. You would figure like a win over Jon Moxley would put you in the main event picture probably for a world title match, and they're not doing that, and I don't know why.
I don't know. Your guess would be as good as mine. It's tough because that's your first instinct is to predict it based off of, okay, well, what's going to happen, like you said, in the future. But then it's kind of like, okay, well, that's how you should think. But AEW doesn't get that memo sometimes. So, I don't know. We do our best at this rate because you just never know. But, yeah, I just feel like at this rate, it's just going to end up being Darby. And then, I don't know. He pretty much said you're gonna have to kill me because I'm never gonna stop until the Death Riders are put in the ground, essentially. So it might start at Full Gear. Who knows?
Yeah, he's gonna just basically systematically dismantle the Death Riders one by one until the only one that remains is Marina Shafir.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, at this rate, because I feel like, like I said, I feel like if there is a mutiny, which could be very possible, I feel like she'd be the one that would lead, because if you think about it, she's the one that's around Moxley all the time. So who knows him better than her?
She would be a great leader for the Death Riders. Like, I would fully buy into it if like they did lead a mutiny and they excommunicated Jon Moxley from the Death Riders and she took over the the reins and the direction of the Death Riders. I would fully not only be on board, but I would find it so believable that I think it would be the best thing. I think the Death Riders, I could take or leave, but I am very satisfied with the what it's done for Marina Shafir and her career as far as making her look legit. Like, they're gonna have to do a lot more Marina Shafir matches after seeing what she did at Blood and Guts and what she did into the lead up to Blood and Guts and making it very compelling. They're gonna have to start giving Marina Shafir a lot more matches, which is very surprising that they haven't had her go up against Statlander. I think it would be very what's the word? I think it would make a lot of sense because remember, they were trying to recruit Statlander, and at the end, Statlander gave him the boot and said, "No, I don't want anything to do with you. She's the world champion for the women's division." I think it would have made perfect sense to have Marina Shafir in that main event spot. I don't know why they haven't already.
Because again, the thinking it through is not their strong suit, because the storyline's right there. I'm coming after that title because you screwed us over. You literally gave us the finger. So I'm going to take the one thing that matters the most to you. It's like, it's really not that hard to figure out, but if that'll happen, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a riot's coming on. And I feel like that's going to be the only way they can give Moxley a vacation is if they force him into a vacation. So, that remains to be seen whether that happens at Full Gear or not. I don't think it will right away. It might be a little bit of a slow burn, but we both have Darby beating Pac, right?
Yep.
All right. Alrighty, so now we move on for the AEW TNT Championship. We have a no DQ match between Kyle Fletcher, who's defending the title against Mark Briscoe again. But the added stipulation of if Briscoe loses, he's going to be forced to join the Don Callis family. I feel like that pretty much makes this a rather easy outcome because the problem AEW has sometimes with these stipulations is that it almost pretty much guarantees you how the match is going to go, because we said it the last time these two wrestled, and I haven't changed my opinion since. Briscoe's not going to be the one to beat Kyle for this title. Like, it's not happening, and Kyle's not losing that title anytime soon. Like, he shouldn't. Let's rephrase it. He shouldn't, whether he does, whatever, but I feel like there could be a story there of Briscoe kind of being like the lackey now for the Don Callis family, and that could cause some drama with the conglomeration and trying to like get him back. And how can they save him from the family? Because they're just going to probably treat him like shit. So I think it pretty much guarantees that Briscoe's losing, but I think even if they didn't have that stipulation, I just don't see him beating Kyle for the title because we've said it before and we'll say it again. Kyle's not losing that belt anytime soon, and he shouldn't. So yeah, it's not happening full gear. Kyle's winning, he's keeping that title, and Briscoe's going to be part of the Don Callis family, whether he likes it or not, because he said yes to that stipulation. So
Yeah.
make your bed and you can lie in it.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't make that stipulation and not follow through with an actual angle.
Yeah.
That would be great TV. I think it would be great TV. Uh, as far as like the predictability of it, it's very simple. Like you said, it's very simple when they put a stipulation like that. You know, it's bound to happen that way. That's kind of the downfall of AEW. But again, I think I'm in line with you in thinking that nobody should take the title off of Kyle Fletcher. I honestly don't think they should take the title off of Kyle Fletcher till they have a legit reason to put him in the main event picture for the world title and possibly give him the world title, because he's been a player of that level where you think he's going to ascend to the main event level. And you know, this is the matches, I will say, at least the matches with him and Mark Briscoe are pretty good matches. They're competitive matches. I just think with this stipulation of if Briscoe loses, he joins the Don Callis family. I just think there's too much there to make a story and make a compelling story. Kind of reminds me of like when they had Daniel Bryan join the Wyatt family.
Exactly. I knew I was thinking of something and it could not come to me. Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking too.
Yeah. I will say it is great what they're doing by Mark Briscoe by making him such an important part of the program. You know, because he was, for the most of his career, he was a tag team guy with his brother. And then when he lost his brother, he could have easily been kind of in limbo. Like, what do we do with him? He's not willing to tag with anybody else, justifiably. But what do we do with him? And they've figured out a way to make him a part of the program, make him a part of the storylines and the angles and the matches. And, you know, when my thing is, when you see people on a regular basis, you can kind of, that's how you develop the fandom, you know, is seeing people on a regular base that, you know, they're dependable, you know, their in-ring style, you know what they bring to the table, and that's how they develop fans in that way. So I think that's what's helped Mark Briscoe, is being on TV on a regular basis and having the conglomeration and this best of 7 with Kyle. You know, so it's all been great, but I do think that Kyle Fletcher is going to win, and we're going to see what Mark Briscoe and the Don Callis family, because my God, who isn't in the Don Callis family at this point?
I guess us.
Yeah.
We might be. We might be. We don't even know.
We don't even know at this point, because literally everybody's in the Don Callis family. They're even trying to recruit the Young Bucks into the Don Callis family. It's just their numbers never stop growing. They want to be the NWO of AEW for sure.
Boy, I mean, you're not wrong on that one, but yeah, we both have Kyle Fletcher beating Mark Briscoe and retaining the AEW TNT title. All right, so the next match is a casino gauntlet match for the inaugural AEW National Championship. And our prediction for that match is, we don't have a prediction because we literally know nobody. Like, literally no one as far as this recording's been announced for it. So yeah, I can't really pick something that we know like nothing about. Right. Literally nothing about. So
but let me ask you, is it too many belts?
That's a tough one. I feel like on the men's side, yes. But the women, maybe, I'm not going to say need one more, but if they had another one, I wouldn't be upset about it. But yeah, the men, it's kind of getting a little crazy. Because let's think about it. You have the World Championship. You have the TNT Championship. You're going to have the National Championship. You're going to have the Unified what is it, Intercontinental technically or something like
The
that.
the unified title. It's just the unified title.
Yes. So that's 4 right there. And then you have the men's tag titles. And then you have, I mean, technically, if you go off of Ring of Honors, you have the trios title. You have like all the titles over there. So yeah, it kind of gets to be a little much after a while. I'm not really sure why we needed a national championship.
Yeah, I don't
know.
know why. I really don't know why we needed it.
Because I guess that was like their way of, I don't know, I guess that was their justification of being able to wrestle in other promotions, because that is like the thing for it, is that they said this could be like kind of like the international title. It can be defended in other promotions, I guess. And they wanted it to kind of be like the NWA national heavyweight title, but even then it's kind of like
the NWA already has a national title. It's the NWA national title.
And it's also just like, you don't really need a belt to go wrestle for another promotion. You could come up with a story or like a reason, and people really aren't gonna like bat an eye at it. So right. I'm not sure. I mean, unless they clearly have plans, I mean, obviously we don't know about, so maybe in like a month or two we'll be eating our words, but for now it's just kind of like, why? You could have had like the international title be that, or you could have had the unified title be that, but okay, I guess we need another belt, I guess, but I don't know, maybe they'll end up unifying something else at some point, but
yeah, that's what it feels like, that they just make these belts up just to unify them.
Yeah, it was just kind of a whole waste of time, really. I mean, it's not like the belts were, like the ones that were unified, it's not like they really elevated anybody or anything other than just the fact of you got Kenny and Okada, which, I mean, that's not, again, you don't need a unification match for those two to wrestle each other, but yeah, it seems like it's a lot, and I honestly couldn't even tell you, oh, well, maybe like this person's gonna be the one that wins it, because it's just like, I don't know. It's essentially a workhorse title, but isn't that what your secondary title should be anyway? And you already have 2 of those, so why do you need 3 workhorse titles? But I don't know, maybe they just felt like it that day in the office, and they were like, yeah, it's a great idea, we're just gonna go with it.
Yep, well, that is the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal match, and that is to crown a brand new champion in AEW, and AEW, what is it, AEW?
National Championship.
National Champion, AEW yep. National Champion. Wow.
Not international. National.
National, just national.
So, they already can't take it out of North America, apparently.
Oh, well, imagine if that was truly the case.
Oh, good God. That's a whole other can of worms, but yeah. And it's funny that you mention, is there too much of something? Because speaking of, we'll move on to the next match we can actually predict. It's a trios match where the winners receive $1 million cash prize, because for whatever reason, Tony Khan really loves his money matches, and whatever, we'll get to it when we talk about it. So it's Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express, so Jungle Jack Perry and Luchasaurus, taking on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and Josh Alexander. And once again, they just keep the streak alive. This is one of those matches where you look at it and go, wow, this would be great on a Collision or a Dynamite, but why the hell is this on a pay-per-view? Mm-hmm. And also, what is it with I'll throw this question at you since you threw one at me. What is it with these money matches? What is it? What is it? Like, do you not pay them enough that you have to, like, make them fight for more money? Is that what this is?
They make their yearly salary, some of them, in these money matches, because I mean, I could understand 1 or 2, but like we get 1 a week.
It seems like every other week, every day. It's just like, Tony, this isn't. I guess the only reason is that it plays into the whole like Young Bucks are poor storyline, but even then, it's just like, why? Like, you don't.
Yeah.
It worked for a little bit, but now it's just overkill at this point. Like, it's not even really funny anymore. It's just like, okay, it's another money match, I guess. It's like, I wish I could go to work and win an extra $1 million just by showing up to work. That'd be great, but I don't know. So wait, as far as the match,
who's in the match again? It's the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander
and Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express.
Yeah,
So
see, this
literally
is
the same thing we saw last pay-per-view, except we added in Kenny Omega and Josh Alexander. That's
yeah,
literally the only difference.
this just screams TV match to me.
It does. It really does. Well, like we said, it happens every pay-per-view. There's always at least one or two where we're like, why is this on the show? We could have saved this for a Dynamite. We could have saved this for hell even a Collision. It's not that's not going to make me tune into this pay-per-view
Yeah,
like at all. Um I feel like you can't have the Young Bucks lose another one of these matches, can you? Like I said, it's kind of overkill at this point that yeah, they're losers. Yeah, they're poor. They're not making any money. Jurassic Express was trying to be nice last time and tried to give them money, but it's like at what point do we finally just say, okay, well, we've had the fun. Let's get the Young Bucks back to something that's not like a laughing stock?
yeah,
Um, is this the match? Like, is this the match they finally win?
yeah.
And
Because I'm with you. I want to see the Young Bucks be the Young Bucks. I don't really need to see them be a comedy act. You know?
yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna continue to have them do this, like, I don't know what you want to call it anymore, just the poor gimmick or whatever. Have them win the match, have them act like they're all of a sudden billionaires again, and just have them go absolutely like be obnoxious about it again, and then all of a sudden the money runs out or something. I don't know, but that might lead to another goddamn money match. But I feel like law of average says you have to give it to the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander because it's just there's no point to have them continuously lose these matches now. It's just like it's not entertaining. It's not really fun. It's just kind of annoying at this point. So maybe if they finally win, we won't see them as often, but I highly doubt it. You never know. But yeah, I said just give it to the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander, just so hopefully we don't have to see this match for quite a while.
Yeah, I am. Ugh.
What's the point of having Jurassic Express and Kenny win? It's not going to really kill them. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anyway.
Um. So you're going with the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm trying to see it to if there's a way to break up, the monotony of guessing the same thing. But I mean, it's really hard when you have a match like this that nobody really. I mean, not necessarily
Cares?
cares. It's just it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I think based on the fact that it's $1 million and it's the most money there's been in this money match situation, I too am going to go with the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander to
All
win the
right.
match. But
See, it's okay to be similar sometimes. It's fine.
like I'm sorry, I just can't find a reason to care about the match. This may makes me
No.
seem like a horrible fan, but like I didn't
Nah.
I didn't care for Jurassic Express.
They were fun, but I was never like, yeah, they're gonna absolutely like be the faces of the division. It was
Mm,
just never like,
I
eh.
for me it's always been like right when Jack Perry was kind of getting familiar, like remember what I said, the more you keep putting people out there, the more familiar they become with the fans and then they develop fans
Mm-hmm.
themselves. I think that's what was happening with Jack Perry and the whole
Yeah.
scapegoat thing, and it was finally catching heat and making waves, and then for some reason he just kind of disappeared and went on a sabbatical and then came back and now he's Jungle Boy again. But like it's like Jungle Boy was good for the time being, but then once we got a taste of the scapegoat Jack Perry, I think we wanted more of that in the end, and that kind of got undercut.
Yeah, we wanted more of the edge.
Right. I think he's
Yeah.
trying. I think he's trying to do that too. I feel like there's glimpses of him wanting to bring that edge back, but he can't really go full gear. No pun intended, because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a fun gimmick him and Luchasaurus. I mean, he's got a dinosaur. They have the song. They do the arm wave thing and all that stuff. So he can't really go full like I'm kind of still a jerk heel, but I think he wants
Yeah.
to in a sense.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like there's a way you can make Jurassic Express like edgier. It's just I don't think they're willing to do that yet. But yeah, it's just it's a shame because they're a great team. Like you can't take that away from them, but it's just like it's just not something we, and it's sad when even a Kenny Omega match we're just like
Yeah, really, really. I didn't even think about it that way, but you're exactly right. When there's a Kenny Omega match on the card and you're just like, I can do without it.
yeah, like that's such a weird sentence to say, but
Yeah.
true. And it's just like there's really no need, but here we are. We're getting it whether we like it or not. But
Yeah.
all right, so we both pick the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander to hopefully put this stipulation match out of its misery for a while, but we both know that's not going to probably happen. All right, so I don't know. This might be the one that separates us. We'll see. So for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, we got Bandito and Brody King defending the titles against FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood with Stokely in their corner. I remember the last title defense Brodito had. We were really on the fence of like, is this going to be the one they actually lose? Because I don't think we were split on it. We were close, but then we were like, no, we'll just go with them for the time being. However, I don't think this is going to be. I think this is going to be it. I feel like this has got to be the time that they lose because, in my opinion, FTR, they're doing like great work as like being the bad guys because they do very well as being the bad guys. But I feel like if you don't have them win, it's kind of like, okay, well, what are you doing with them?
Right.
You're just gonna beat up Hall of Famers. You're gonna like shit talk on legends, and you're gonna have nothing to show for it. And plus, we always say we like the chase when it comes to titles, and everybody's going to want FTR to get their ass beat when they have those titles, especially if you're going to potentially have Cope and Christian Cage come back as a team, whenever that may be. And you're going to revisit that feud at some point. It'd probably be a little more dramatic with the titles being on the line. But yeah, I feel like if there would be a team that would take those titles off of Brodito, as much as we love Brody, I feel like it would have to be FTR because I don't know who else it could be.
Yeah, I think they're doing the most solid work of any tag team in AEW, especially the whole gimmick. I think Stokely adds a level to FTR that we didn't see them having before, but it's just a perfect fit. Again, I want to break things up, but I am enjoying what FTR is doing. FTR seems like the team and strategically where they are in the card and what they're doing on TV, they are grooming them for a World Tag Team title run. It just feels that way, like they're being set up for a tag team title run. But again, you just can't tell with the direction that AEW goes sometime. They can, when you think they're going to go left, they're going to go right on you. So, and the thing is, I know Tony Khan is a big fan of Brodito as a tag team. He's the only reason they are a tag team is because Tony Khan wanted them to be a tag team. I think the story is that he saw them do their little handshake backstage and he's just like, well, why aren't you guys a team? Like, you know, when Tony Khan is a fan of the work, that kind of adds an element to it. Because he books the shows to how he wants to see the TV, like the fan in him. The wrestling fan in him would like to see on TV how it would go. So that's kind of how he books the show. So that kind of adds the element. Well, Brodito's been a hot act. Brodito's been on TV consistently for months. But damn, if you don't pull the trigger on FTR in this heel run that they're going on now, that they're doing such great work with when do you do it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, you got to do it at some point. And like I said, if it's going to be anybody, it would be FTR, at least for me. So
Yeah. Yeah, I am probably gonna have to go with FTR. Jesus Christ.
like, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. Like, this is just normal for. I mean, we haven't had to use a tiebreaker for a couple shows, so we knew it was bound to happen again at some point. However, I don't know, we still got 2 more matches left, so things might change. You never know.
All right.
Well, we'll see if we'll see if that's the case because coming up, I'm just going in order, and I feel like in my mind, I wouldn't mind this last match being the main event. So we'll just say co-main event because I sure love doing that. It is a steel cage match for the AEW World Championship where Hangman Adam Page is going to defend the title once again against Samoa Joe. It's tough because I mean, it's not like I can't see Samoa Joe as the champion. I just can't see Hangman losing it so soon. Or losing it yet, I guess would be the word. But I mean, it's going to be an entertaining match. I mean, their first match wasn't bad. And of course, it's a steel cage match, so you know there's going to be some type of carnage in some way, shape, or form, especially with those two.
It's tough.
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I guess we kind of have to get out of our heads that, oh, well, why is he getting a rematch? Because it's like, this also isn't WWE. So, I mean, rematches exist outside of WWE.
Yeah.
So, not really a surprise, but are we going to have Samoa Joe lose again, though?
That's the thing. Like, but this is the company that would do something like that. You know, any other wrestling logic, you would think, okay, Samoa Joe lost the last time, so you know he's due now. His number is being called. But this is a company that will definitely have him go down 2-0 against Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way though, it would be different because their first match had a different feel to it. Because Joe hadn't turned at that point, so it was just kind of a. I mean, he was still being an asshole to Hangman, but it was like different. But now I guess this is just like a different type of matchup because now like his true colors have been revealed, so the motives are clear now. I just can't see Hangman losing yet. I don't know. I just don't see it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hangman. I don't know about you, but I just don't see him losing that title yet.
If this was any other company, if this was WWE, I would probably go Samoa Joe because again, you just don't see it where they go match, rematch, and then the winner of the first match. They usually like to do that, best of 3 rubber match sort of deal where you win one, I win one, and then we have a blow off to determine who wins the feud or whatever. But this is AEW. They kind of
subvert that expectation.
Yeah, everything is very unconventional, which is why I don't understand why they went back with. This is the problem I had with the initial match. The initial match, the 4-way match, was Samoa Joe, Hook, Ricochet, and who else? There was somebody else in the match. But the point I'm trying to make was like a bunch of those people it was Samoa Joe, Hook, Ricochet.
Did who was it? It wasn't Orange, was it?
Was it Orange?
I don't know. I feel like
my point is like a lot of those people, like Ricochet. What does Ricochet have to do like with this particular scenario of being in this title picture? And we already saw Samoa Joe, he lost. So if this is AEW trying to be different, why is Samoa Joe getting a rematch? and it was just Hook was like, it was just like made no sense. And then that's when I was just like, this guy is just making matches. He's not booking a show. He's just making matches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, this match has been kind of like blah since the beginning.
I mean, the title match was only a thing because Samoa Joe got pissy. That's it. That's literally the story.
Yeah.
That was how it happened, was just he got pissy and called him out, and Hangman said, well, screw you. You're not taking this from me, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
So that's gonna be, you know, me. Sorry, my dog's going crazy here. Yeah, he hasn't interrupted the show in months, and now
I know.
he wants to start. But I'm gonna have to go with that logic. I'm gonna have to go with Hangman Page retaining, because I don't see them taking the title off of him anytime soon. And I mean, there's so many more matches you can get out of the Hangman Page title reign. Again, I think honestly they should maybe look into, maybe if they want to go unconventional, do something like a Darby Allin Hangman Page program. You know,
yeah, that'd be good.
Because again, Darby Allin with this whole situation with the Death Riders has been right underneath, and you would think, what's the reward for finally vanquishing Dean Ambrose or Dean Ambrose? I called him Dean Ambrose.
Oh boy! Oh no! Don't bring that back.
You know what's the reward for getting rid of Moxley finally? You know?
Yeah. Give him something, because that was always, well, because even going back to the whole thing with Moxley and Darby in the first place was just, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve to be in the title picture ever. It's just like, that's just not where you belong. And that would be a good like segue into that, where it's like, no one believed in me. Moxley sure shit didn't believe in me, and yet here I am. I completely destroyed this entire like faction from the inside out.
Exactly.
And I deserve it.
Yeah, it's really weird how they haven't put Darby in that situation yet. It makes the most sense, and yet they still haven't put him in that situation. I feel like it's so weird that we still aren't even talking about winning or losing the match between Hangman and Samoa Joe. It's just like, well, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I again, with this company, they just confuse the hell out of me.
I mean, that's pretty much the best way to put it with AEW, is they just confuse the hell out of us sometimes. So,
but it's a steel cage match, and these two are actually good wrestlers. So you know, and especially Joe. Joe's like the consummate performer. So they're gonna still have a great steel cage match. So at least that's to look forward to.
I mean, it's still gonna be, obviously it's gonna be entertaining. It's just kind of a, why are we back here again? But I don't know. And just, you shake your head, I guess.
Yeah, but we also have to make sure we make note that this is for the AEW World Championship.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. AEW, you confuse me.
Yeah, they really do sometimes, but. Yeah, but we both have Hangman retaining against Samoa Joe in the steel cage, because we just don't think he should lose that title yet.
No, I don't think so.
All right, so our last chance before we have to get the tiebreaker in here, and I'm not entirely sure. I don't know about this one, but I said that about the tag titles, so we'll see. All right, so we have what I think should be or could be the main event. I'm like the most excited about this match out of all of them. For the AEW Women's World Title, we got champion Stat and Chris Statlander defending that title against Mercedes 5,000 belts Mone.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's won 13 at this point, and for all we know, she might have won another one when we weren't looking. So it's just how that be. But anyway, so I'm excited for this match. As I said, this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. Because if there's literally any inkling as to how good this match is going to be, just go look at their last two matches.
Yeah.
Like their last two matches were fantastic. And Stat said, I'm not the same person that you wrestled last time or the last 2 times. She's even better because she's Stat. It's always Saturday night. And Mercedes is just trying to win the big one. But the thing is she going to win the big one? Or is Stat going to prove any doubters wrong as to, oh, well, she's just going to get run over. She's just going to get fed to Mercedes for the title. It's like, okay, well, not so fast. You can't underestimate Stat there. So this is going to be a fun one. This is, I think, going to be a very back and forth. A little bit physical, a little bit maybe, speedy with Mercedes. I'm just excited because, again, their last 2 matches have been fantastic. So I'm really going to be shocked if they, go out there and completely just have a stinker. I don't expect it. As far as the winner, though,
it's tough.
I feel like it's very easy to be like, well, the ultimate goal is to have Mercedes hold all the titles, so she has to beat Stat to do that. But also at the same time, I feel like that would be a slap in the face to Stat because you can't have her beat someone like Toni Storm, one of, if not the best women's wrestler on your roster, to then turn around and not even a couple months later drop it to Mercedes just for the sake of this title hunt.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole story here is, again, the whole belt collector, whatever. Although I do feel like there would be a better story if Stat beats her and then the story becomes, so all of these promos that have gone on between Stat and Mercedes, and even go back to Mercedes and Tony's promos, this could be just a massive insecurity ego trip kind of thing with Mercedes, where she knows she can't win the big one. She can't win the AEW Women's World title, even though it's her destiny. She can't win. She couldn't beat Tony. She just couldn't win. And so she has to collect all these other belts as masks, I think, if I remember correctly, because I even watched her promo thing with Tony a couple months ago, and that was what Tony said. It's like, are you just collecting all of these belts as different masks to hide the fact that you can't essentially win the big one? And I think there's a better story there than just having her immediately walk in and just beat Stat for this title. And plus, I feel like if Stat beats somebody like Mercedes, because I feel like there's still people out there that are doubting her as a champion, which is so fucking wild to me. She's already beaten Tony twice, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And if she beats Mercedes, I guess, I don't know what more she would have to do at that point. I think that's pretty much as legit of a champion as you can get when you beat the likes of Toni Storm and Mercedes Mone, according to PWI, number 1 and 2 in the entire world in women's wrestling. So if you beat both of them, I think you're pretty legit, even though I don't think I really had to fight that hard to see Stat as a legit champion, because she's worthy of it. So I think Stat is pulling through. I don't think Mercedes is going to win the big one, and this is going to start her descent into madness, because I feel like, again, there's a better story in Mercedes not being able to win the big one, and then it sends her into a spiral, and the next thing you know, all 13 of these belts are gone, and you have nothing. And then build her back up as to, okay, well, I have nothing to distract me anymore. I don't have these 13 distractions. I took my eye off the ball, and I thought I was I thought that this was what I was supposed to do. I was just going to collect all these belts and it was going to make me feel something, but the one that I couldn't get is the one that meant the most, and maybe that's her redemption story then. But I feel like her just winning it outright right now just doesn't have the same story power as her losing. So I think Stat's retaining the title, and I think this is going to kick off the downfall of 5,000 belts Monet as we know her now. So yeah, I said it. Stat's winning. Fight me on it all you want, people. I don't give a shit. Stat's winning.
The one good thing about this match is that it's probably going to be the best match of the night.
Absolutely.
I think, and especially because Stat is one of the people that Monet loves to wrestle. So when she's wrestling against someone she loves to wrestle against, she's gonna
Yep.
actually go out and perform to the highest to her ability. In terms of picking a winner, though, it's tough because Mercedes has been on a roll ever since, I don't know, ever since she left the WWE. It seems like she's been on a roll, just collecting belts and collecting belts. The one thing that I've seen from Monet that's quite interesting is that she has lost some matches as recently. She did lose
Mhm.
against Tony Storm and everything like that, but like the losses haven't hurt her perception,
No.
of who she is. So I'm wondering if they think they can get away with that with having her lose to Statlander at Full Gear. Does she still keep that mystique about her?
Yeah.
But again, it could also lead to what you were saying, like the whole she loses to Statlander and then she just loses everything, you know?
Yeah. Because she can't get the one thing that actually means the most to her, because even like I said, I don't remember the date, but it was just that big like one-on-one that her and Tony had leading up to their match, and she said that AEW women's title is my destiny. Well, clearly Destiny's fighting you because you have yet to win it. You've yet to win, like Tony said, the big one. So she might think that, oh, this is a walk in the park. I got this. Stat's easy. Well, then what happens if Stat beats you?
Yeah.
Then everything you know and everything you think you believe in goes completely out the window, and it's going to be the spiral of all spirals.
Mm, why are you so good at convincing me?
Maybe
Uh,
I guess I should have been a used car salesman in another life. I don't know,
yeah,
but
you would have killed
yeah, maybe. But this
it.
is me with a pencil.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of somebody winning the title and then maybe having one or two defenses and then losing the title. So I don't want
Yeah,
to see Statlander lose the title, but then again, it like that paints Monet as sort of like a fluke, kinda.
yeah,
She's winning all these belts, but she's not winning the big one.
hmm
You know, so
yeah,
that kind of paints her as a fluke.
yeah,
Um, and I don't wanna go into the match thinking that way. This is tough.
yeah. I know. I said this was gonna probably be the one that was gonna separate us if one did. So
Uh, I
see, guys, this is tough. You think it's easy? It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy trying to do these trying to do these predictions, a justification, because you just don't want to throw out a name and then have no rhyme or reasoning to it. That's the
Yeah,
hard part. Is like my brain wants to say Monet, right?
yeah,
But I'm listening to everything that you're saying and how it could easily make for a good storyline to have Monet lose. But in the sense of this prediction sort of battle, I don't want that to happen. But
yeah.
safe bet is Statlander retains.
Hmm.
Crazy bet is Monet beats her. And then Monet has 14 belts.
You want to go safe or do you want to go crazy? That's pretty much what it comes down to.
All right, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go with Statlander.
Right, all right.
All right.
So no tie. Well, we actually do. We need the tiebreaker, guys, because we, as far as I think so, we have picked all the same.
Yep, we picked all the same. We got Darby Allin winning his match against Pac, Kyle Fletcher defeating Mark Briscoe, the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander winning that $1 million cash prize, FTR becoming the new tag team champions, Hangman retaining his AEW World Championship in the steel cage, and Statlander retaining the AEW Women's World Championship.
So now comes the even harder part, is picking the tiebreaker. Hmm.
I think I already have my tiebreaker in mind.
Yeah, I think I got one too. So, well, we'll see, because then we might need a tiebreaker for the tiebreaker, depending on how. 'Cause I wouldn't put it past us to have to. I don't know what we'd have to do to go into sudden death overtime, but all right. So my tiebreaker is. We'll see if we're at least right on the match. I'm going with the Kyle Fletcher Mark Briscoe match.
Okay.
I'm assuming you didn't.
No.
Okay. So my tiebreaker will be that the Don Callis family comes out and costs Briscoe the match, because it's a no DQ match, so you know that they're going to get involved somehow.
Okay. Cost Briscoe the match. All right, and for me, my tiebreaker comes in the tag title match. I'm going to say Stokely helps FTR cheat to win the AEW tag team titles.
I love how we both had like the evil guy like mindset of like, yeah, they're gonna come out and somebody's gonna cost them this match.
We're heels.
Yeah, I guess we secretly are, I guess. Now here's the funny thing. I feel like once we have the tiebreakers, what the hell happens then if both of that happen? Like both scenarios happen.
That would be so crazy.
I'd laugh. I feel like maybe, I don't know. I would just assume I'd just end up winning by default.
Yeah,
but...
you win by default because my brain power doesn't have enough to make me figure out another outcome.
Yeah, my brain can't go past one tiebreaker, so that's just let's put it this way, guys. We get the tiebreaker if by some chance, because it could happen, knowing us, it could happen. If both tiebreakers happen, it's just a draw.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the mental capacity to do double tiebreakers. That's too much.
My brain hurts just doing the predictions now, like without the tiebreaker for AEW pay-per-views. So, you're gonna make me go into migraine mode.
Yeah, we can't split hairs. Like we just can't do that.
Yeah, so again, this is how it's gonna break down. We both have Darby Allin defeating Pac in basically the only match that doesn't really have a stipulation attached to it or a title. And then we also have Shay says that Kyle Fletcher, and I say Kyle Fletcher is going to beat Mark Briscoe. Shay says the Don Callis family is going to cost Briscoe the match by helping Kyle Fletcher win. We both have the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander winning that $1 million cash prize. FTR, we both have becoming the new AEW Tag Team Champions. And for my tiebreaker, I have Stokely helping FTR cheat to win. And in a steel cage match, we believe that Hangman Page is going to retain the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Samoa Joe. And for the AEW Women's World Championship, we have Statlander defeating Mercedes Mone, and probably a shocker, I would say. Shocker of the night.
I mean, I'm also biased. I wouldn't think it's a shock, but that's just me.
That's just you, but there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our predictions for AEW Full Gear, which is happening this weekend. This Saturday?
Yeah,
this Saturday, pay-per-view, live Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. Gonna be a good show.
I feel like it's always at the Prudential Center for whatever reason.
Yeah, it feels like Full Gear is always at the Prudential Center. I was just thinking that earlier too.
Them and their like semi-permanent like venue locations for some of these pay-per-views. It's like, guys, there's other venues that exist, but that's fine. Anyway, but that was my rant going.
That's happening this weekend. It's going to be a good show. Check it out on pay-per-view, payperview.com. It's also going to be on Amazon Prime, HBO Max. There's a whole bunch of yeah, we're going to go to Dave & Buster's and watch some AEW.
Yeah, let's go. Why not?
Sounds good. Yeah, we should do that one day. We should do like a live podcast. Like
live watch party.
Yeah, like a live watch party from Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome. I would definitely be down to do that.
All right, we'll put it on the calendar.
All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our predictions for AEW Full Gear. And that brings us to the end of the show, where you can listen to me spout off the millions of ways that you can listen to this podcast. It's available on all podcast platforms. All you have to do is just search Ringside Rundown, hit the follow or subscribe button, whatever the platform asks of you. We come out with a new episode every Wednesday, so make sure you have your calendar set and your notifications ready for every Wednesday. A new episode of the Ringside Rundown drops on your podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, Audible, Amazon Music. Again, it's on all podcast platforms, but if you don't have a particular platform that you use and you can't get one, that's okay, because it's also available on our YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/@ringsiderunpod, you can get full episodes of the podcast and short form content from the streams that I do throughout the week. If you want to see if it's on your platform of choice, just message us and let us know what platform you use. We will get you a link to that platform on a silver platter, but be careful because that silver platter belongs to Shay's mom, and she's the one that came up with all the chaos and ideas for Blood and Guts. So
yeah,
it was right in her wheelhouse. She felt really at home during the women's Blood and Guts match.
Her favorite part was the bed of nails, so that should tell you guys something.
Did she really? That was her favorite part?
I mean, I feel like, well, no, her like the spot that she most like cringed at was probably the mirror,
Yeah,
but
the mirror was a good one.
Oh, just the sound of ugh. It's gonna make me just like cringe all over again. Anyway, go on.
Somebody had a good question about the mirror spot in one of the comments because I posted it as a highlight. They were like, "Now, does Marina get the 7 years bad luck, or does Tony, because that was Tony's mirror? So who gets the 7 years bad luck? Because which one of them broke? It broke off the head of Tony Storm, but Marina was the one that threw it."
Oh, that is a good question, actually. See, that would have been a perfect like podcast question if we were doing it. I'd say probably Marina. If you're the one that breaks it, regardless over whose head. I think usually the person that breaks it gets the bad luck. So I think we'll give that to Marina, unfortunately.
What a sentence.
Well,
usually the one that breaks it over your head.
Not from experience, I promise, but
no,
anyway.
I've never had a mirror thrown at me, that's for sure.
No, I've thought about it, but that is assault, so you have to be nice.
Again, make sure you give the silver platter back to Shay's mom, or else she'll throw a mirror at your head.
She'll break it over your head and not feel bad about it.
Yes. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and sometimes Sunday, I do live streaming over on Twitch and YouTube. If you want to watch me watch programs like Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, or Collision, come hang out with me. I'm on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch.tv/ringside rundown. Again, that's twitch.tv/ringside rundown. And again, if you want to check me out on the YouTube channel is youtube.com/@ringside run pod. Again, I'm doing live streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. watching some wrestling, having some fun, making some jokes, getting jump scared by loud sound alerts. It's always a good time. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on my wrestling Twitter at @ShayRingside_, just like Eric's, except with my name instead.
Yep.
I copied the homework.
She stole my gimmick.
Yeah, I copied the homework. I did my best.
Well, there you have it, guys. We'll be back with another episode next week talking about we talked about Blood and Guts, talking about AEW Full Gear. We're going to be giving our match ratings for each match, and we're going to see if Shay gets to hold on to the predictions championship. I don't know. I'm feeling good about my tiebreaker.
I think I did pretty good, so we'll see what happens.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tell your friends all about us so you catch us on the next episode. Thank you guys for listening. For Shay Hickson, my name is Erik Vasquez, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.
See you later, guys.